The Florida Panthers knock out the Boston Bruins again in the playoffs. The New York Rangers climb back from a 3-1 deficit thanks to a natural hat trick from Chris Kreider. The Edmonton Oilers keep their season alive in a Game 7 with two strong performances after a bit of goaltending drama. And the Dallas Stars are proving that they might be the most dominant team in the NHL playoffs after taking out back-to-back Stanley Cup winning championship teams. Well, welcome back to the channel. Round 2 of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs is officially over, and with the Eastern and Western Conference matchups set, I thought it would be fun to take you through both series and make my predictions for who I think is going to the Stanley Cup Finals this year. Now, I did this for the first and the second rounds, and for both rounds, I only mispredicted one of every series. The first round, I predicted the Jets would beat the Avs, and that didn't happen. And the second round, I predicted that Boston would beat Florida, and we all know how that one went down. So today we're going to start with the Eastern Conference, and then we'll talk about the Western Conference, just kind of predicting who I think is going to win in both of these series. So let's start with the Eastern Conference and make my predictions for the Florida Panthers versus New York Rangers. Now, off the rip, I think I'm choosing the New York Rangers in this series. Just looking at this team from top to bottom, they have the offensive superstars in Panarin, Zibanejad, Lafreniere, and of course Chris Kreider, who will get pucks on net, provide a solid power play boost whenever they get a penalty on the Panthers, and they also have the ability to play in their back end and have a superstar goalie as well. Now, this team, to me, they're built for a deep cup run. They added some nice pieces at the deadline in Roslovic and Wenberg, who have both been great additions to the team. Their bottom six has a ton of production in this series, and they also have a bunch of juice from beating arguably one of the biggest contenders in the playoffs this year. But when you look at their opponent, it's not exactly going to be as easy as beating the Washington Capitals in the first round. The Florida Panthers, they are battle tested and they're hungry to win a cup this year. They've reached the Stanley Cup Finals last year and not only dominated their series against the Lightning and the Bruins, but they were intensely physical in both of those series. So for the Rangers, I'm not sure if they've really had a physical test yet in this year's playoffs. The forecheck for the Panthers is amazing. They have some skillful offensive players in Matthew Tkachuk and Barkov, and for some reason this team, they know how to fight in the final minutes and get a few dirty plays that the refs will probably miss. So for the Rangers, in order for them to beat the Panthers, they really are going to have to provide on Igor Shesterkin as well as their defense, preventing that offense from getting going. They'll also have to stay out of the box because the Florida Panthers, they may not have had a great power play against the Boston Bruins, but all year long their power play was humming, and if you get that going, the Panthers might just destroy the Rangers in this series. But if the Rangers can rely on Igor Shesterkin, prevent pucks from getting in the back of the net, and just stay out of the box, I think that this team could handle the Panthers in 6. Now, that's a bit of a stretch considering how well this Panthers team is built, but I just believe that the Rangers have the slight offensive edge in this series, and the goaltending, well, it's great on both sides, but I think we all can agree Igor Shesterkin is just better than Bobrovsky at this point. Now, comparing defenses, I think they both have great back ends. The Rangers are amazing with Fox, Miller, Trouba. Those guys are going to play physical and prevent the Panthers from getting in deep, but the same goes for the Panthers. Montour, Ekblad, these guys are skilled players, along with Forsling, who has been arguably one of the best defensemen in the NHL this year, especially when it comes to his plus minus. I mean, nobody scores a goal when this guy's on the ice. Now, like I said, I have the Rangers winning this one. I think it's going to go to 6 with the Rangers winning and heading to the Stanley Cup Finals, but I could very well see the Panthers coming out and getting a few gutsy victories because this team is incredibly physical and may just wear down the Rangers depending on how this series goes. Now, flipping over to the Western Conference, we have the Dallas Stars versus the Edmonton Oilers, and props to the Oilers for pulling out that victory. Not only are you down 3-2 in your series, but you come out in Game 6 bringing Stuart Skinner back in net, and then repeat the same thing for Game 7 on the road and get a massive victory. Now, comparing this team to the Dallas Stars, I will be very, very shocked if the Edmonton Oilers end up pulling off a win in this series. It's no knock on some of their top players. I feel like if you just take a look at McDavid and Draisaitl alone, these guys are producing more than you could ever ask. But their bottom six, it's just not there right now. And unfortunately, it's not that their defense is the worst, but comparing it to the Stars and their goal goaltending, it's just night and day. The Stars have at least 3 lines that could be top lines for any other team. Their defense is much improved with the addition of Tanev, and Jake Ottinger is playing some of the best hockey of his career. The Stars knocked off 2 of the previous Cup champions, have an insane amount of confidence from winning both of those series, and now they're facing a team that, well, let's just say isn't as good as the Avs or the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, the keys for the Stars in this series is to prevent the Oilers from getting on the power play. Their power play just clicks at an insane rate, and McDavid and Draisaitl will get goals in that type of series. But if the Stars can stay out of the penalty box, I can't see the Oilers potting too many goals, especially with the defense and goaltending that Dallas has, and I can still see the Stars out shooting the Edmonton Oilers in this series given the amount of talent that they have on the offensive end. I'm going to predict that the Stars are actually going to win this one in 5. It's no knock on the Edmonton Oilers. I think they're a good team, but with their goaltending woes that they've had all playoffs long, and with Dallas just being so consistent throughout the entire playoffs, I just can't see the Edmonton Oilers pulling it out in this one. So I have Dallas winning this one in 5, and if you flip back to the Eastern Conference, I have New York winning in 6. Now, like I've been saying all year long, I think that the top seeds this year, they're just too good to be upset by these lower seeds. And when it comes to the Rangers and the Stars, I just think that these 2 teams are a class above everyone else in the league. Let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments below. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. I'll be doing more coverage for not only the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, but for the Cup Finals as well. I'll see you guys in the next one.